Do you know your constitutional rights? Our founding fathers died to give every American citizen freedom of speech, due process, freedom of assembly, and the freedom to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. Rise, stand tall, be bold, and be grateful for your American heritage. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave, where everything is possible. And we are the people. Welcome to We the People. Today we are going to talk about your public safety. My guest, Tim Pino, is the retired K-9 unit commander of the Somerset County Sheriff's Office. During his time at the Sheriff's Office, he has held the ranks of sergeant, lieutenant captain, and acting chief. Tim is now a Republican candidate for the Somerset County Sheriff. He has a very outside-the-box platform which includes more police K-9s on school and religious grounds, more diversity within the command ranks of the Sheriff's Office, and state-of-the-art special needs outreach program. During his time at the Sheriff's Office, Tim has successfully lobbied to the New Jersey legislature for Dano's Law to protect enforcement animals and the families they work with. Tim, a Catholic, currently works at the Bridgewater Jewish Community Center and has been endorsed by many Muslim community leaders. Tim is the only diversity outreach chairman to Somerset County. To learn more about Tim's plan to keep Somerset County safe, please visit www.pinoforsheriff.com. Welcome to today's show. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Hey, thank you for having me on, Geeta.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So tell us more about your background.
Oh, I worked 21 years with the Somerset County Sheriff's Office, and I retired 3 years ago. And when I retired, I was our acting chief, and I also ran the K-9 unit for 15 years. So there was really nothing more for me to accomplish at that time. And the only position higher than where I was at would be the actual sheriff of the county, and that's an elected position.
Impressive.
Well, yeah, that's the only thing that's left. So I was, I got out, I got I retired, and I moved on.
And how do you like it?
Well, I enjoyed moving on, and then, but of course, you get sucked back in when you hear that the incumbent sheriff that he's not running again. So then we got excited about that, and then we decided that we would run for that position.
Wow!
So it brings us here today.
And so tell me more about, you have a campaign slogan, right?
I do.
What's that?
All right, we say politics can be fun. Because they really can be, and the problem is, if you turn on the news every night, there's a million reasons to get disenfranchised about politics in general. So we've been trying to make it a lot of fun at our events. A lot of times we'll bring police K-9s, so that people really seem to get excited with that.
Oh, that's unique.
We had pro wrestlers at an event. I mean, we really mix it up. But we had a great band at one of our events, the B Street Band. They do a lot of Bruce Springsteen covers.
Oh, wonderful.
And but we like to show you can have a fun time being political under a safety platform like a sheriff race.
And how has the community responded to that?
They really have. When you look at what's going on around, not just locally, but around the country and around the world, with religious institutions and schools and different government buildings all being, in essence, under threats now. And,
yes.
Yeah, big time. So when we rolled out our platform, it was a while back, but police K-9 related, we said, hey, we want to build, we want to have, I ran the K-9 unit, but I wanted to build it up. And so then we can be in the grammar schools, we can be in the religious institutions, have shared service agreements, and and when you see us, it's more proactive than reactive. Because right now, let's say if you're at the mall and you see a police K-9 walk through, you're thinking, you're thinking, oh my God, something's playing out.
Something happened.
Something's happening, and I want to change the perception within Somerset County that under Sheriff Tim, that's just that's him being proactive. This way, nothing does happen.
Good for you.
Yeah, I want that.
I like that positive vibe.
Yeah.
So politics can be fun. How about that?
It can be fun, and we knock on doors. Sometimes they're like, "Who's out there?" But then they see a guy and a dog, and guess what? They open the door, and we have a good chance of getting their vote.
Okay,
but it's real. We don't sugarcoat it. It's not all.
It's a very realistic approach, and back down to.
It's a very common sense approach, and just we just tell it like it is, and I think people relate to that. They're tired of being sold a line.
Oh, yes. So it's more truthful and
it is.
natural.
Our campaign hasn't taken $1 from any political party. So
okay.
It's really grassroots, a lot of influx from diverse groups. We're representing all the demographics within the county because, and like I tell everybody, unfortunately, but it's sad but true, and I won't even sugarcoat it on your show for your viewers, but when an active shooter goes into a school and let's say they pull a fire alarm and all our children run into the hallway and they start shooting, they don't care if our children are Republican or Democrat,
yes.
white or black,
and
what religion they are, and we're trying to bring the whole community together under our platform and make Somerset County the model for the state. And say, hey, listen, we're going to protect everybody with our police canines.
So we have a sense of unity here is what I'm sensing.
Big time.
Okay. Now, you have a few roles, so let's talk about, what inspired you to run?
Well, I worked for a political office, Somerset County Sheriff's Office for over 21 years, and I worked with Sheriff Frank Provenzano. I got a great opportunity to learn from him, mentor from him, saw a lot of great things that I loved, saw some things that I didn't like, but that's what makes a relationship, and we got along really great, and we accomplished a lot of great things over his 18 years of being sheriff. And when I retired, I had also, during my career, I was a big animal advocate throughout my career. I worked a canine. I ran the canine unit, but I sat on the board of the Somerset Regional Animal Shelter Executive Board and also the Somerset County 4-H Board. So I've always been around animals, and that led me to lobbying the New Jersey legislature for stricter penalties for threats made against police canines.
Okay, so stricter penalties. So
yes,
is that in effect now?
It is in effect, but I got my first real feel of politics with that. Basically, I had back in 2008, there was a drug dealer who had threatened to come to my house and kill my police canine, and basically it led to us trying to charge this individual, and there was no laws on the books in New Jersey to charge someone making threats against a police animal, only a police officer.
Wow.
And I really put not only my dog at risk, but my family, my wife, my children, and everything else.
Well, some people say their pet is part of the family.
A pet is part of the family.
So
a police dog is part of the police department. So, and then a threat against a dog, there's an implied threat against the officer as well. You were connected by a leash.
Wow.
So, long story short, I was told by a lot of legislators, hey, try to change the law in Trenton. But I learned real quick about partisan politics. So I had a lot of Republicans supporting me. Thank you, Republicans. And I drafted a bill along with Senator Kip Bateman. We go down to Trenton. And for 4 years, I testified Assembly to Senate. It didn't go anywhere. And I thought it was a great bill. I'm like, it's not going anywhere. So a lot of my Republican counterparts were like, Tim, you did the best you can. Feel good about it. You played the process. You got the message out. But I got to be honest with you, I wasn't satisfied with that. So at home, I was drafting letters to Democrat legislators. And
so it sounds like you've been pretty busy.
Well, this was.
You are very dedicated.
I was during that time because I really wanted to see this law get passed. And
it got passed.
It did. I found a champion down in South Jersey, an Assemblyman, Nelson Albano, a Democrat.
Yes.
And he got one of my letters, and he loved it. And amazingly, within 6 months, I get a call from the governor's office, and they're like, "Hey, you have a bill signed after your canine.
Oh, wow.
First animal in the state to have a law named after it.
So hard
called
work
Dano's Law
pays off. Dano's, yes, I read that in my introduction. So that's what Dano's Law is.
And I tell you, it keeps us always connected. When I announced on New Year's Eve that I was running for sheriff, one of my first endorsements called me on the phone. It was Assemblyman Nelson Albano, the Democrat, endorsing a Republican for sheriff. So it meant a lot.
Good for you.
He was like, I'm happy to see you're keeping this fight going.
Yes. So. Oh, well, all the best for that.
We're trying.
Hopefully you continue to do great things in the community.
We're just trying.
We are appreciative.
But we're keeping it fun. Got to have fun.
We got to have
fun.
If
there's no fun, we're not doing it.
Well, yeah, so on that note, what's a typical day like for you? Fun included.
All right, fun included. Well, it usually starts...
Well, maybe not the fun stuff and the fun stuff, both. So what's typical for Tim Pino?
We get up around 5:25 in the morning.
5 a.m., wow.
Yeah, and that starts usually answering emails and texts from overnight and also updating...
Well, what kind of emails do you get, for example?
We get like constituents. Hey, I need, what's your position on whatever?
So they can determine if they want to vote for you?
Yeah, they'll email the website, and then we have a great person who maintains our website. Her name is Maxine. I'll just throw a little shout out to her. But,
sure, Maxine.
And then she'll forward those messages to me, and then some people want signs, or they want me to call, or hey, can you stop by? Sometimes if we have time, we'll stop by. And but they just have questions about the campaign or things that we're doing really good. And
so emails and texts. Do you ever get any derogatory emails and feedback?
Every now and then, I do.
Okay,
Most
and then you
definitely.
always answer those as well.
Those I do, it's like, and I take a little even extra in that. I don't mind being challenged on something, and no one's ever right or wrong. I love opinions, you know. So I'll say, oh, I appreciate your input, but then I'll give them my end of it. And I've had a few of those people actually then come back, and they're like, no, Tim, after talking to you, and I get where you're coming from.
Okay.
You know, so.
Yeah, so constructive feedback, or I guess responding to constructive criticism is also really pivotal.
One of the biggest things I was doing in Somerset County was a diversity platform, and we're still actively doing it, which involved, I'm a Catholic. I work, when I retired, I got hired by the Jewish Community Center in Bridgewater to run their security.
Okay.
All right, so, and then I'm endorsed by a lot of Muslim leaders. So
yes,
like,
you mentioned.
Who is this guy? You know, a Catholic, he works for the Jewish community, but he's endorsed by the Muslims. And I know a lot of, even my Republican counterparts at first were like, Tim, what are we doing here? You know, like, 'cause it sounds more Democratic than Republican. But then I told them, I had to remind them, I said, you know, up in Bernardsville, I think it's Bernardsville or Bernards, but there's a beautiful statue of Millicent Fenwick. And I remind everybody, I said, if anyone remembers who she is, every year they do an award for her. And I was like, you know, she worked for Ronald Reagan. She was a civil rights advocate. And I think the Republican Party, again, just my opinion, but I think we've sort of gotten away from that message a little bit. And I think there's no better county in Somerset to bring that message back. And then these same Republicans are like, Tim, you're right. We were wrong. We're going to vote for you on June 4th at the primary because we know you can go to November and win, because we haven't won a county race in 2 years. So they're like, you're bringing something different to the table. So
it sounds like you're bringing diversity, you're bringing fun, and I guess just more unity overall.
And dogs. Lots of dogs.
And dogs.
Dogs. If you love police
dogs. For all
dogs,
those pet lovers out there.
we're going to be there. We're going to be everywhere. And if there's children around,
that's great.
like whether it's Little League or if there's after school events, our police dogs aren't going to be
And how
far.
do you find training the dogs? Are they easy? I know that's kind of off topic. But
Ooh. Well, I'll tell you what, they're tough.
Yeah.
Police dogs, you know, they're tough. But I'll tell you what, it's usually about a 6-month training course, depending on what specialty you're doing for the dog. I personally
And they get their rewards. You have food and
there's
all
different
that
types of rewards.
Yeah.
It's usually like a tennis ball or a towel. I personally worked a drug dog, so we had towel rewards, but tennis balls are used.
Wow,
and,
that's fascinating.
We're not giving up too much of our secrets to the public, but you know, we train with all the different odors and different things like that.
Well, you can tell me the rest off camera.
I will tell you the rest off camera. I will.
But yeah, it's remarkable how the dogs are so intuitive and they can pick up, and they're very intelligent creatures.
They're very intelligent.
Yeah.
And they're your partner too, so you have that bonding. So not only are they learning a
loyalty.
trade, they are. Like even with my dog, I mean, we worked together for almost 12 years.
Man's best friend, right?
Man's best friend, and I tell you what, that's just having a pet at the house. It becomes like man's, I don't know, like
bodyguard.
Yeah, he was with me like when he passed away a few years ago.
Okay.
It hurt. I mean, like he was with me for 12 years straight. That means an average day would be I get up in the morning, I get ready for work. He jumps in the truck because he lived with us.
Yeah.
Then we're at work all day together. Jumps in the truck.
You kind of depend on each other.
Comes home with me.
Yeah.
Then once we get home, I was a drug dog, so I was like, we were on call together. So then we get a call out 10 o'clock.
So he's like your partner.
He was my
he is
partner.
your partner.
So then, like after he passed away, I remember that first day going to work without him, and it was brutal.
Oh,
and I couldn't actually go into our backyard for about 4 months.
And now you have another dog.
We have a pet dog at home. I retired, then we ended up.
You work with another.
I have several police canines I've been training with on the side.
So how many dogs would one officer or sheriff have that you would use?
Usually the most you can have is like 2.
Oh, 2.
At the most,
and then you train each one so they respond to you individually, or can they go with another?
They'll have different objectives. So one could be like a bomb dog, one could be a drug dog.
Okay, but so there's 2 assigned to you. So they couldn't just be assigned to someone else midway? Like
no, well, you could. It's not recommended, but usually like a dog, when it gets trained with a handler, whoever that handler might be, those dogs go home with that handler.
Okay.
So like in the agency I was with, 2 of the handlers, I believe, had like 1 dog, and then another handler actually had 2. So, but in some agencies you can have like 5 handlers all having 2, and then that's what I envision for Somerset County down the road, maybe like 6 handlers all having 2 dogs or something bigger than that. And we can make it happen.
Okay, wow. So that's just, again, enhancing the safety in the community.
Most definitely.
So on that note, what should the community be more aware of? Like, what would you tell the viewers today, or someone like myself who may be unaware of certain things that you know about?
I'm going to be blunt. I mean, there are people, and I call them cowards. They stay home and they're behind their laptops at night and they're planning attacks on different institutions, whether it's religious or schools.
Are you talking about cyber attacks or real attacks?
No, like real
tangible
attacks, like we've seen around the country, and around the world. So The last thing they're looking for is resistance. They want to be in charge. They want to go. They want to take their weapons and go and do harm to our children. I have 2 kids, 14 and 11. You know, they want to go into schools, or now we're seeing a lot more of the religious institutions. And they want to.
So churches.
Yes.
Okay.
And the last thing that they want is to know that they're going to meet resistance. And the one thing I'm telling everybody, let's bring that resistance.
Okay.
In the forms
So
of
you want to
police
kind of
canines.
make a presence, or
most definitely.
the saying that if this, then that.
Yeah, proactively, not reactively.
Okay, so beforehand.
Beforehand.
So
most
kind of
definitely.
let them know that you are out there.
I'm letting them know. You
and
come to
they'll-
Somerset County and you're going to try to harm our children, you're going to be met with resistance.
Okay.
Period.
So that should make people feel more safe.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And so you're saying a lot of people are just unaware and naive to this?
I'm not saying that they're naive. They know what's going on. I just think I think the mindset has to change. That like when you do see police canines out there, you're thinking reactive. Wow, what played out? Why is a dog
okay.
at
So
my
it's
kid's
not
dog?
necessarily something bad happened. It's that we're preventing something bad from happening.
Right. By having a presence,
Okay.
right, movie theaters, stuff, normal places you
yes.
normally don't see dogs, I want to bring it in Somerset County.
Wow. Okay. And do you have any inside tips for on safety as somebody on the inside, for as law enforcement? What would you say to the public that, like an inside kind of?
Be aware of your surroundings. Remember, we always had that thing like
Okay.
if there's a backpack in an airport, when this was years ago, like a suspicious package, make that part of your daily life now. Wherever you're at, people are up to no good.
Okay.
People
So-
want to harm,
Wow.
and just be aware of
And
your
do you feel that
surroundings.
it's increasing, the crime rates, like, or in terms of
I do.
intensity, maybe?
I do.
Getting more
I mean,
and
in
more.
Somerset County alone, MS-13, get the gangs down in the southern part of the county. Northern part of the county, you got white supremacist groups.
Okay.
It's real.
And you have a plan of action to resist these people?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Trust me, they're going to know Sheriff Tim's on the job day one. Trust me, I'm telling you, they know it. They know I'm coming for them. So
Well, who do you see as the 3 major threats, or at least the top threats of, and I know that's not on the notes, but...
in my county or
Well,
just
I would say anywhere. Like, given the global era that we're in today with millennials.
Yeah.
What are the top 3?
Okay. I would say religious groups.
Okay.
And we're seeing it. We're seeing that play out. And there's no discrimination against any one particular
Right.
group.
So, but it's still religious.
Without a doubt. Whether
that hasn't
you're
changed.
Christian, which we just saw in Sri Lanka.
Oh, yeah,
And then
okay.
you have, there was the Muslim attack.
Yeah.
a
So
few
now
months back.
everyone's
And
at
then-
risk. Everyone's
yeah,
a
and then
target.
the temple attack with the Jewish community last year,
Right. Okay. So everyone's basically a target.
Yes. I would say religious institutions right now definitely should be on high alert.
Okay, high alert. Now, on a personal note, how supportive is your family with your campaign?
They're actually very supportive, and it's surprisingly. I mean, listen, they have their days. Like they're like, Tim, you're never home, but they're actually very, very helpful. You can't run for any political office. I don't care what it is without the support of your wife and my kids. So
Are you doing long hours away from home?
I am doing very long hours away from
Okay.
home, but they're very
like
supportive.
coming to be here today.
Coming to be here today, I'm here, But
Yeah.
my children have been awesome. We have a
Oh, good.
campaign mascot. Again, politics can be fun, So our campaign mascot is usually, one of the kids,
Yeah.
are out there. So spoiler alert, But
Yeah.
they're out there helping me and bringing more awareness. Because,
Yes.
like I said, we knock on the door. Whether we have a real dog with us or our campaign mascot, I think the public's like, all right, this guy's making it fun, and they're relating to my canine team.
Well, I'm sure it's a wonderful feeling to have the people who you love and love you, behind you and kind of in the race. And
Most definitely.
And I'm sure they're proud of you as well.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because it's very, I guess, exhausting physically and emotionally.
Well, you bring that point on.
Yeah.
I'm very run down, and I have a cold. I mean, because I get home at 1 in the
I'm
morning,
sorry.
and then I'm up at like 5 something, and
Yeah.
we're out again,
So
it
every
never
day,
ends.
5 a.m., yeah.
Usually,
And then
yeah.
until June 4th.
Till June 4th.
Okay. Now, there's also several state senators endorsing you already. I'm just going to read some of their names out.
yeah.
Michael Doherty, Declan O'Scanlan,
Yes.
and then as well as Hunterdon County Sheriff Fred Brown. So why do you think these people have stood behind you in your race?
Huge. Well, one, Mike Doherty, he's the senator of Legislative District 23, which encompasses the area I'm running for sheriff in. But he's a champion to the community, especially conservative values, probably the most conservative senator in the state. I've helped him out for years, and when I retired from the sheriff's office, actually, he hired me to help him with his campaign. But the guy's just a winner. Like, he really, when people go to Trenton and they say that they're trying to fight for your wallet, he is down there truly doing it, along with his running mates. But I stood on Route 22 with him in Bridgewater when the gas tax thing was going on, and people are honking their horns at us, but this guy's the real deal, and
Wow.
he's not afraid to tell it like it is, and I actually think some of that's rubbed off on me. So
Okay, good.
But he's just been a good mentor, and he's a good friend.
Well, walk with wise men and you will become wise.
I say that.
I think it rubs off. Yeah,
no, I
that's good.
definitely do. He's just a genuinely good guy, and he does fight for all of us in Trenton.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's good to join hands.
Sheriff Brown, Somerset County has a current deal with Hunterdon County. We house their inmates. Hunterdon County does not have a jail.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, so it's like $1 million deal, multi-million-dollar deal. So
Is there any overcrowding issue?
no, it's not overcrowding. It's not an issue, but we do house their inmates. So Hunterdon County has a vested interest in who's going to be watching their inmates. So I took that as a big honor.
And so they're behind you.
Yeah. Sheriff Brown was one of my first endorsements as well.
Okay.
So that means, it meant a lot to me that not only does, that Hunterdon County wants me to watch their inmates, but we just
Sure.
got the recent endorsement of the Somerset County Sheriff's Office Police Union.
Okay.
So the men and women of the uniform, that wear the uniform,
Yes.
they want me as well. So that means a lot. It's humbling.
Yes.
I'm
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Wonderful feeling. Now, you were responsible for lobbying the New Jersey legislator for Dano's Law. We already touched on that. So that basically protects police canines. So
Yes.
how did you pull that off?
Well, like I said, initially I had the Republican support, and you have to go down to the way it works is you have to go down to the Assembly, you have to testify, you got to testify in front of the Senate, and you have to stay persistent, calling these people on the phone. It's not like running a campaign. You're running, you're working
Yeah.
the phones, you're working
So it's very multidimensional.
letters, and you got to stay persistent. But bipartisan support gets it done. And without it, you're not going to get anything.
So you're
passed.
saying the most important advice is bipartisan
Yes.
support for anybody?
100%.
You have to kind of be humble and work together.
Definitely,
Harmony.
because like I said, when I just had the Republican support, I think it was there for about 4 years. It didn't go too far.
Yes.
I bring a Democratic assemblyman on. Within
Sure.
6 months, the bill makes it, all the way to the governor's desk, and
Wow.
they sign it.
That's amazing. So that's good. It's always better to work
Yes.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Now,
cool.
what do you see as your main obstacles if you do win in terms of getting some of the things that you want to get out there passed? Like, what are the main challenges to that as a politician?
The budget. I'm fortunate to have on my team our first undersheriff, Joe Lamont's his name, but he was the current sheriff that's in office right now. He was his first undersheriff for about 15 years, I believe, and ran the budgets. He's a retired Wall Street guy. So you got to work that budget, and you got to be creative with it to meet not only the day-to-day demands that you're dealing with in the sheriff's office. We run the courthouse, we run the jail, but also you want to be able to get out into the public, like we're saying with some of these programs that we want to do, and be highly visible. Grant money, we're going to work that aggressively. Homeland Security grants and different things like that.
Okay, so are you reliant on these grants in order to perform some of the roles in the community?
Yes, and you have to
Okay.
meet some of those grants. Like I'd like to see federal inmates come back to our county jail. We have room for them,
Okay.
and that also brings in additional grant monies and federal funds as well.
Okay, so why do you want federal inmates to come back?
No, the funding that you get for it
Okay.
as well will help supplement some of these programs that we want to run.
Okay.
And I think our jail could be at max capacity, and it's not. And
Okay.
let's use it.
Yeah, yeah. And so
Definitely.
what would be one of the, or a couple of the first things you'd like to work on if you do get in after the elections?
Immediately want to get, I think like the ink won't even be dry on my swearing in paperwork, but we'll be going after the gangs, the MS-13s, and
Okay.
as well as the white supremacists. They're
So you're
going to
talking local gangs.
local gangs and local hate groups.
Do we have a lot of local gangs in the counties around here?
I can't speak for the other counties. I know in Somerset,
do.
like I said, there's a pretty good contingent of MS-13. And they were there when I worked there. They've been there for a long time.
MS-13s are,
What's that?
sorry, what are they? What is that referring to? Pardon my
Oh
ignorance.
no! It's like a Central Jersey type gang that they come up. They deal with a lot of weapons and a lot of.
Okay, are those like
narcotics.
teenagers or older?
It varies.
It
Yeah,
varies,
they
huh?
recruit young. They go old. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that's one of the main threats in addition to the religious target groups.
Right.
Okay, okay. All right, and so do you have in closing, any advice to the community that you'd like to impart?
Well, they're going to have a chance. It doesn't always happen. There's only been 2 sheriffs, I think, in close to 40 years in Somerset County. But the community is going to have a chance with this one election on June 4th to go out and make a statement and say, hey, we're putting our vote behind Tim Pino, someone who actually worked at the sheriff's office. We've never had a sheriff that actually worked at the sheriff's office. So for your tax dollar, it's a great deal. I can get in there on day one and start working hard for them. And if they take safety seriously, like I believe they do from the doors we're knocking on and the phone calls that we're making, I believe they do. Mm-hmm. And they want to feel good at night when they put their head on the pillow that someone is looking out for them and their children and their families and stuff. Tim Pino's the way you want to go. And we're going to bring in an arsenal of dogs and proactive things and neat stuff I can't go totally into on your show.
Sure,
but,
yeah.
well, some state-of-the-art technology that we're working on within the canine field.
Yes, can you elaborate a little bit on that, the state-of-the-art technology?
State-of-the-art, I can say that look forward to seeing a demonstration in the near future of some of the things that I think I can bring to Somerset County that the other counties will jump on immediately and probably go nationally as well.
Okay, do you have a background in technology?
I have a background in police canines and a background with assisting tactical teams, so it's something geared off of that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we're exciting. We're going to give the public some new things that they can see. That is pretty cool.
Counterterrorism unit.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
That sounds
pretty
interesting.
cool.
FBI material here.
Yeah, no, when we bring this out, you'll be pretty excited. We'll make sure you're tagged on it.
Okay, and you mentioned budget earlier, so are you fiscally conservative, should I assume?
No, we're definitely fiscally conservative.
Okay.
So one of the reasons we can, by bringing in more inmates, we can get more funding, and then we can
and you want to use those dollars more wisely.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, currently there's several racial discrimination lawsuits going on within the Somerset County Sheriff's Office. So
from inmates.
From officers and inmates, unfortunately. So
the officers claiming
they claim, different racial discrimination, I guess, during promotional
that
processes.
Suffered.
Yeah,
okay.
Some from inmates involving halal food and stuff like that. So one of the first things we're going to do, we have a lot of support within. One of the people on our team is actually the state chairman of the Criminal Justice Division of the NAACP. So we're going to come in, we're going to settle these lawsuits. That'll save the taxpayer a lot of money on these. We've been paying out in all these lawsuits. We want to settle all that.
So you want to settle those as quick as possible?
I definitely do. I want to get to the bottom of it, see what's going on. Yeah, most definitely. I think the taxpayers want to get, because if you litigate these things, it costs everybody a fortune. So
you would just settle, okay.
I would like to settle. Yeah, I'd like to get in and find out what the meat of these things are, but there's a lot of them, and it's troubling to me.
So it's basically cases against the state.
It's cases against the current sheriff and his regime, and his administration. So we don't like that. You don't like seeing that.
Okay, that's kind of like a...
So I want to, and I know some of the plaintiffs, they're very good people. So I just want to find out really what went on, and try to get to the meat and see if we can come to a resolution that makes them happy, but also is a taxpayer-friendly type.
Well, it's always better to settle. That's what they say in any type of law or any type of legal matters.
But see, me saying that to you and doing it are two different things. So that's why.
Well, sometimes you can't. It's hard to reach both parties and even
make
a bridge.
It is.
So it depends on.
To be able to bring groups in like the NAACP as a Republican in Somerset County, that's unheard of.
Yes.
That's a first.
Wow.
And we're going to go into certain areas that we haven't been able to really promote our message.
Sure.
And it makes us very not just winnable June 4th.
Well, it's also thinking out, like you said, coming outside of your comfort zone.
You have to go outside.
You have to step outside of that territory.
You have to.
Otherwise,
if you don't have an agency that represents the demographics of the community that you're serving, it's actually cheating the taxpayer. It is. When the taxpayers come to you, they want to make sure that they have a seat at the table. Everybody in Somerset County will have a seat at Sheriff Tim's table.
Oh,
I promise you. Hold me to it. Have me back here next year after we win.
Yeah, let's
have me back. You can work me over, Geeta. I promise. It's okay.
Well, I want to wish you all the best. I want to thank you for taking time to come on the show and talk to the viewers. And hopefully things go well for you. And again, thank you for all the hard work, getting up at 5 a.m. every day. And
I do.
And everything you've put in.
I can tell you, on June 5th, I'll be sleeping. I promise. Wherever I'm at, Tim Pino's phone will be off. He's sleeping.
Okay, agreed to that.
But listen, I want to thank you. I also do want to give a shout out to the Bridgewater Jewish Community Center, who today, these socks that I'm wearing, these have been my good luck socks throughout the campaign. But little donut socks. See the police innuendo? They're having fun with me. Yeah, they have fun with me there.
That's cool.
It's an incredible place that we could do a whole show on them as well. But the Bridgewater Jewish Community Center in Bridgewater, they do everything from
excellent.
They have a gym, a state-of-the-art multi-million-dollar workout room. They do all these like group fitness things. They have an incredible special needs program. That could be a whole show as well. So
maybe part two.
Yeah, listen, I would welcome a part two. I'll bring my executive director back.
Fantastic.
And have some fun here. Yeah, no, they do an incredible job. So.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And again, I'm glad you're doing great things.
Yeah.
And keep up the good work, and we will stay tuned to hear from you.
You're definitely going to hear from me. You can follow us on social media.
Yes.
And
you have a website?
Website, www.pino, the numeric 4 sheriff.com.
Yes.
And
all right.
I'll leave you with I have some stuff for you today with that. And,
absolutely.
Listen, we're going to have some fun. If nothing else, politics can be fun. Tune into Tim Pino. I promise I'll entertain you.
So how about that, viewers? Politics can be fun.
But we're going to keep you safe because we tell it straight. We don't sugarcoat it.
And safety first. So make sure to check out Tim's website. I want to thank everybody for watching this week, and we will catch you for next week's episode.